Well, Mr. President and delegates, the agenda now calls for the Milt Hakel Award to be presented, and following that, we'll hear the results of the prior question that you have been voting on. Let me just share with you that Milt Hakel started his 40-year Farmers Union career in 1952 as Minnesota Farmers Union editor, and was the original editor of the publication Minnesota Agriculture. In 1975, he came to National Farmers Union, where he was an author and editor of the often quoted weekly Washington newsletter. Hakel continued to write even as his official retirement began in 1983. Milt Hakel has been described as a giant and the greatest in his farm writing field. I would now invite North Dakota President Mark Watney to present this year's Milt Hakel Award for Agricultural Communications. Mark, the floor is yours.
Thank you, David. I'm assuming you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm proud to introduce Don Wick as this year's recipient of the Milt Hakel Award. Don is a longtime broadcaster with the Red River Farm Network based in Grand Forks, North Dakota. His career began in 1982 at a small radio station in Wabasha, Minnesota. He has worked at mega stations like WCCO in Minneapolis and WNAX in Yankton, South Dakota, before joining the Red River Farm Network in 2003. Don is a knowledgeable farm broadcaster, seasoned interviewer, and expert in his field who fundamentally understands agriculture. His reporting is solid, fair, and unbiased. As a journalist, Don has reported from Cuba, China, Russia, Japan, and throughout Europe. In 2010, he put on a flak jacket and traveled with U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack to Afghanistan, highlighting agriculture's outreach within a war zone. Most recently, Don partnered with the Minnesota Department of Agriculture to launch Transfarm Nation, a series of stories, podcasts, and social media posts that jump-started the conversation about farm stress and mental health issues. The series featured farmers and agriculture stockholders during their personal stories and resources that are available for help. The genesis of Transfarm Nation came from Don's genuine concern for family farms and ranchers, the very lives he has reported on for almost 4 decades. It is my honor to present Don Wick with the prestigious Milt Hakel Award, Agricultural Communication Award, on behalf of National Farmers Union and our members, and to say thank you and job well done.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. And to everybody at Farmers Union, this Milt Hakel Award means a lot to me. My former partner, Mike Hergert, who has since retired, earned this award back in 2002. And I remember how much it meant to him. And it's always had a lot of esteem, I think, in the whole ag journalism world. I went back to look at some of the past recipients, and it's a pretty impressive list. I look at Ron Hayes in Oklahoma, Michelle Rook in South Dakota, the late Ed Sluzardzik in New York State, Al Gustin from North Dakota. There's some tremendous giants in our business. And I thank Farmers Union for recognizing farm journalism, ag journalism. A special thanks go out to our Farmers Union organizations across our footprint, North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota. That includes Mark Watney, Gary Wordish, Doug Somke. I've also had the great pleasure to work with a lot of the national leadership, including Rob, Tom Bias, Roger Johnson, Dave Fredrickson, all the way back to Cy Carpenter. So it's always been a pleasure to work with the Farmers Union team. As mentioned, I've been in this business for close to 4 decades, 39 years. I still get up every morning at 3 o'clock to come in and prep for the morning show. And I love this job. I love this industry. It's really a blessing to be able to tell your story in agriculture. When contacted about this award, Hannah asked me to say a few words about Transfarmation, our radio and podcast series that Mark mentioned. As a farm broadcaster, we talk markets, we talk weather, we talk policy. I can tell you, I never imagined years ago I'd be talking about mental wellness or farm health, mental health issues, but it became pretty obvious that was a story that needed to be told. There was a conversation I had early on with Teresa Gilly from our region, whose husband died by suicide, or Dale Zaratka, a North Dakota farmer who had a similar story with his son, Nathan. We talked with Brenda Rudolph from Minnesota, who outlined the steps her and her husband took so that the farm wouldn't wreck their marriage. Farmers Union members Brian and Sarah Clavundi joined us, and we talked about some of the stressors that farmers were facing, particularly with some tough weather conditions and a difficult growing season. With transformation, we've talked with farmers and ranchers who are amazingly resilient. They've gone through farm accidents, the loss of a loved one. They found a way to continue and to succeed in the business of agriculture. We've had farmers share their story and how they're dealing with COVID or a transition from one generation to another. We've also had the chance to visit with a young adult, a member of the state FFA officer team in Minnesota, talking about farm stress, and that list goes on and on. I can't thank these people enough for sharing their very personal stories. With transformation, we've been able to shine a light on the issue of farm stress and mental wellness, and ultimately that's what we want. We want to hear from others who are going through a similar life experience and to know that we're not alone. These are important stories to tell in agriculture, and as a journalist, we feel honored to be able to tell those stories. Transformation taught me the importance of going really beyond just the headlines and going into those personal stories as well. Finally, as Farmers Union members, I've asked two things of the membership. Number one, if you're dealing with farm stress or depression, be willing to talk to someone, maybe clergy, maybe a family member or whatever. Number two, if you recognize a family member or a neighbor that's in trouble, be willing to listen and try to find that individual some help. When we're dealing with a health issue, it might be diabetes or arthritis or whatever, there's no shame talking about it. I think we need to remove that same stigma when we talk about issues of mental wellness. Again, my thanks to North Dakota for making this nomination, along with the rest of the organizations. North Dakota and Minnesota Farmers Union both were key supporters of our transformation project, along with the Minnesota Ag Department. I'm so grateful for Farmers Union for recognizing this work. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize my team here at the Red River Farm Network. This award really recognizes all of our hard work. Again, thanks to each and every one of the folks from the National Farmers Union. This tremendous award, it really means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Wick, on your receiving this award. And again, to emphasize the appreciation we feel for the effort you have led to address the very important issues of stress that has skyrocketed in these last few years based on markets, based on COVID, and you're to be complimented, as we hope you feel this award does, in recognition of what you've done. Thank you.